Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Life with Robin Hartman. And today I wanted to discuss interviewing and what that looks like today. It's a little bit different from when our mom and dads used to interview, and it's definitely something that we need to talk about and prepare our kids for interviewing too as they get closer to entering the job force or getting out of college and looking at sitting for some interviews. So, how can we be ready for the current interviewing scenarios and stand out against our interviewing competitors? When I started interviewing after I finished college, I felt really insecure. I felt like I was less than the people that were interviewing me because I felt like they were on this pedestal. They had the job, they knew how to walk the walk, and I was desperate to start working and get a job. So I definitely felt very insecure. I didn't know the lingo that they were using, and I felt a lot of times when they were doing interviews when I went into IT, and I felt like they were using all of these fancy words just to kind of trick me. And yes, some of the questions were absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes I felt like I was taking a test. They were just There's two or three of them in the room interviewing me at a time, an interview panel. They were just triggering, shooting off questions, and it was like, who could ask the harder questions? It was a little bit challenging. There's a couple different interviewing scenarios. There's, usually like a one-on-one or you'll have a panel. The one-on-one is, a little bit easier to navigate, but sometimes the panels can actually be a little bit of fun, and maybe one of them are, you're always gonna have one that's like a little bit of a harder person that does the questionnaire, and then you're gonna have that softer, like, human resource, person that's a little bit more compassionate with their questioning. So that's always good to be prepared for when you're entering a room with that. How to prepare for the interview. Research. Know your company. Know the company that you're going to be interviewing for. Know who owns it. Know how much profit they made. How much money was going in and going out of that place. Do they donate to any special causes? Any cancer? Children, animals. What do they? Where's their money going, and what do they use it for? That's always great. Any legal issues that they've ran into. I interviewed for a company, and they had some legal issues. And so, that was one of the questions that I looked at and went over in my interview because I didn't want to. They basically didn't give the people their retirement and kind of filed bankruptcy. And so I didn't want to work for a company that was going to do that. So I definitely asked the question, and didn't get the job, but it's good to know. I don't think I wanted to work for that company anyways. So yeah, know the company. Is there any articles that was written about the company? Look them up, find out. What did they say? Or do people like working there? I mean, you have to think, do you want to work for a company that no one likes it and that it's a very hostile and edgy environment? What do the employees say about the company? Do they like working there, or has everyone that worked there absolutely hated? I mean, you have to decide, is that something that you want? And they have researched you. So make sure you research them. When you get the interview, usually they'll have a couple people listed that's going to interview you, and look them up on LinkedIn. Find out where they go to school. What do they talk about on their page? Are they kind on their page? And it kind of, do they love race cars? Do they love sports? You know, Sometimes I'll find someone that grew up in the same area I did, and in the interview you just say, yeah, you mentioned where you're from. I'm from Ohio, and see if they kind of relate to it. It's like I said, they are researching you, so there's no reason why you cannot research them. Getting questions out when it is your time to ask questions. So they might say, is there anything that you would like to know about us or the company? Or do you have any questions for us? This is your time to shine and your time to market and sell yourself, but it's how you line it up. So ask questions that give you an opportunity to sell yourself. What type of managing style do you are you comfortable with here? And the manager might say, "Oh, I don't need to ask questions twice. When I say do it, you need to have it done." And so you can drive that home and market yourself and say, I really understand things the first time. And that's something I work really well with. Or you could ask, what could your team or company improve on? And now that gives you a chance to find their weaknesses so you can drive that home and be the solution. So they might say, um, let's see, we're improving on getting our task completed at a good time or at a proper time. And you can say that I'm really task oriented. I like to stay on schedule. And so that's something that you can market yourself, or you could ask, what is the missing link that your team needs? And maybe they are missing, that fun, um, happy person in their team, and everyone's really serious and they really are trying to broaden their team to be more friendly and a better diverse environment. And then that's how you can bring in, oh, I love creating team events for my team to keep the connection and work together and make it a better place to work. And then practice makes perfect. Find someone to review your resume. Find 3 to 5 people to review it. Have them critique it. Tell me what is wrong and what you don't like. And then host mock interviews. Sit down and have them take your resume and then have them go through the job posting with you and have them pretend like they are the interviewer and get comfortable with interviewing. That's the only way, is to sit down and practice it. It's a little uncomfortable, but you can help them and then they can help you. And remember, you are also interviewing them. This is just a practice run, and you're here to gather information to get better. So when we go to do the interview and we sit down and we have all of these nerves going, I don't know if I'm going to get the job. What if they don't like me? Am I going to interview good? That's not really what you're looking at here. You are interviewing them. Do you want to work for this company, and do you like the people that are sitting across from you during this interview? This is just a practice run. You're just going in, you're just having a casual conversation, trying to see what this company is about, because you're going to gather information and you might go get a better job. You're just here to get information. What do they ask? What are the questions? How did you do? And then at the end of your interview, sit down and take a look at the questions they asked you. How did you do? Is there something you could have done better? Did you take too much time to think? Did you keep talking when you should have stopped talking and let them talk? Take notes on how you can improve. Always arrive early. Get there very early, 30 minutes early to an hour early. Do not go in. Do not be annoying. You can go in 15 minutes early is good. Let them know that you're prompt and ready and on time. That gives you a minute to compose yourself. But arrive early. Sit in the car, grab a cup of coffee, study your resume and your notes. And then once you go in and that 15-minute mark hits and you're sitting there, this is your time to just let the chips fall where they may and do the best that you can. What do you do after an interview? So after an interview, you're going to review your notes and take a look at how you did. Write the information down right after the interview. Go to the car, write it down. Go home, research any information or anything that you did not understand. Look it up, take notes, make yourself a study guide. Create a study guide with all of the information you collect from all the interviews that you do. If you land the job the first time, great, but you really didn't learn how to interview. If it takes you a couple times, and let me tell you, I interviewed a lot. I interviewed for jobs I knew I couldn't get. I interviewed for jobs I didn't want. I interviewed just to interview so that I can get better. And then follow up. Following up is very important. They'll usually tell you you got the job, you're moving on to the next level, whatever. But before that happens, follow up with a professional introduction email, a professional written email, thanking them for their time and giving you the opportunity. Short and simple. But always follow up with an email after if they let you know that you didn't get the job, follow up with asking a couple questions. Keep it short and to the point. You're going to thank them for their time, and you're going to ask if there was anything that they would like to share with you or any way that you can improve your interviewing skills for the next time. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? The worst case, they don't answer and you move on. No big deal. So let's take a look at what we went over today. Research the company when you are interviewing. Always practice, 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 practice with others, practice by yourself, record yourself, and then follow up, thanking them and asking them how you can improve or anything that they would like to share. These are all the things that I did when I was interviewing. I started off very insecure, and after doing this, and I couldn't find this information online, I come up with most of this just from interviewing and kind of going through the motions. And don't get too nervous. Remember, it's a practice run. I encourage all of you to follow these steps and reach out if you have any questions on how you can improve. Thank you so much for joining me today with Life by Robin Hartman.